today we are reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day. So if you have not watched Spider-Man Brand New Day, I am going to tell you something really important. Lean closer, get in here. Spoilers. I want to know, Adam, from you, what your gut reaction is about this movie.
I was asking questions about this movie. I think I said to you when we were sitting in the theater, I was like, I have no idea what is going to be in this. It's not that I had my arms crossed or my eyebrow raised. It was more of a, what is this? In my humble opinion, I think Spider-Man Brand New Day was not a good film, but it was a great Marvel product.
I noticed you used the word film and not
film.
Movie.
You see what I'm doing?
I see what I think so. I'm trying to clarify if I see. I'll tell you, for me, I got out of that movie and I was like, hell yes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that was a Spider-Man movie. It wasn't a scenario where it's like, I have dissected the first, second, and third act. And as I smoke my pipe and I say, well, when we think about what took place between Peter Parker and Sadie Sink's character, I think what we can do is, like, there's nothing like that for me. I was just like, hell yeah, yes. Welcome to KRA-KOOM. I am Octavius Newman, and today we are reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my guest on the show with me today, Adam Jumpman Teterus. How are you today?
Hey. Jumpman appropriate today. You know, jump like a Spider-Man can jump, like a jumping spider, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But although I would like maybe Adam James Teterus, as in King James, as in LeBron James is a 76er. Maybe we can just bring that in on KRA-KOOM now. How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. We are talking about superheroes today. So, yes. I mean, I guess the LeBron James call is good. But before we get started into the review, I just want to say welcome to the crew. If this is your first time watching, if you are not subscribed, it's a great time to do so. Wherever you're watching and listening, feel free to subscribe. We are at KRA-KOOM on YouTube. That's KRA-KOOM. We are KRA-KOOM Media everywhere else. And we are about to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. So if you have not watched Spider-Man Brand New Day, I am going to tell you something really important. Lean closer. Get in here.
Come on,
Spoilers.
Get in there. That's right.
Spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spoilers for the MCU Spider-Man video games, Spider-Man comic books. Okay.
The concept of Spider-Man, the theology of Spider-Man, the philosophy of Spider. You got to be caught up on all Spider everything.
Right. Spider lore, the various kinds of spiders. You need to know all the information. No, but seriously, folks. If you have not watched this movie, we're going to talk about it. We're going to spoil it. And I just want you to know that ahead of time. So here is your spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's your fault. But if you're still here, thank you for joining us on this. So before we get started fully, I want to know, Adam, from you, what your gut reaction is about this movie. Did this movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, meet, exceed, or kind of land below your expectations after watching the movie?
Well, let's walk through the buildup and the immediate gut reaction a little bit, because you know that in our group texts, I was asking questions about this movie.
Off rip.
I was, before the movie came out and the trailer was out, I was sending texts saying things like, what is this movie about?
Yeah.
It wasn't even I don't know about this one. I feel like I couldn't even render a judgment. I just like, what is this? What is this
about? It's about Spider-Man, Adam.
Of course it's about Spider-Man.
It's all about Spider-Man.
Yes, the spectacular Spider-Man, the superior Spider-Man, the amazing Spider-Man, and not the superior Spider-Man. Real ones, no, that's out of Octavius.
Right, not quite that one, but yes.
But so my reaction going into the movie was a real, like, I don't even know. I think I said to you when we were sitting in the theater, I was like, I have no idea what is going to be in this. I knew one thing that was going to be in this, which was Sadie Sink, which we'll talk about. I knew one thing. And yet, you're right.
The MCU said we can confirm that Sadie Sink is in this movie. Like they didn't confirm what character, what role, or what kind of anything other than the fact that you are correct. She is in this movie.
That's right. And then the internet does what the internet does and takes that shred of information and extrapolates that into rumor, into Stranger mythology, into confirmed, right. Whole thing. So all of this is saying, going into the movie, it's not that I had my arms crossed or my eyebrow raised. It was more of a, what is this? And then we were discussing the Doomsday trailer, and I said, all eyes on Spider-Man, because
that's a fact.
Spider-Man has to carry some weight to get us to Doomsday, because it's basically all we have between now and Doomsday. And now we've seen the movie. We're getting out of the movie. My gut reaction, Octavius, that was a long movie. That was kind of my gut reaction. But I think the first thing that was on my mind was I was thinking about the length of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I really. And it's
like,
because
I gotta use the bathroom. Hurry up with this, Peter Parker.
I did.
Get to the bottom line.
I really did. Yeah. Come on. I'm a one kidney haver. I can only hold it in for so long. And when we were watching the movie, and my outcome, just getting out and thinking about, okay, how did I feel about this movie? It wasn't even like I couldn't tell you exactly how I felt, because I think there's stuff in there that I like, and there's stuff in there I like less. And that's why by the end I was like, damn, that was long. And it is 2.5 hours long. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about runtimes a little bit with you today. But, I don't know if this satisfies you, but when we got out of the theater, I was like, that was a long movie.
Well, I'll tell you, for me, I got out of that movie and I was like, hell yes.
Yeah, you were like hands in the air.
Yes.
Wee!
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that was a Spider-Man movie. I will say my gut reaction was like, man, that was so much fun. It wasn't a scenario where it's like, I have dissected the first, second, and third act, and as I smoke my pipe and I say, well, when we think about what took place between Peter Parker and Sadie Sink's character, I think what we can do is, like, there's nothing like that for me. I was just like, hell yeah, yes, I like that. I want to buy that on DVD 4K. Can't wait to watch this with other people. I think people are going to love this movie. I felt the energy of a really good movie, like cinematography, color, you know what I mean? Shadows, characters, performances, also action set pieces, and Marvel superhero fights, action. Like, I'm like, yes, yeah, this is what I want.
Checking all the boxes for you.
Right. All the things that I went in expecting. You know what I mean? It's the stuff that I was kind of like, because you may not know, internet, but Adam, I watch one trailer and I'm out of here most of the time. Sometimes I break that. So I know there are a lot of people who are like, oh, well, from the trailer that, the Punisher. No, from the trailer that the Hulk. Oh, from the trailer. Like, I had heard from other people, but it's not stuff I had seen myself. So all of that stuff was my first time seeing it. I knew that the Hulk was in it, but I had no clue what any of that stuff was going to be. So
that's right. Yeah.
I wanted to go in here and I wanted them to give me something that was exciting, a reason to go to the movies, a reason to sit in a theater with a bunch of other people in the dark and like gaze upon a gigantic, we come to the theater because, like, that whole thing that the AMC does in the beginning. And I think this movie is one of those things. Like, this is why you go to the movies, to see something like this. It wouldn't be as good, I don't think, if I had saw that on my phone. So
no.
Coming out of the
I get
reaction.
The theater experience, more often than not always, but more often than not, elevates the experience, right? And it's fun to see it even in a press screening where it's a combination of press and just fans and people who are excited. Because say what you will about I don't know, there's like the idea of Marvel plants. There are people in there who are so
Shills,
excited. Yeah. They're so excited that there's kind of a, like they're going to start the wave, so to speak. And they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. I'm so into this Marvel property. But like, it's fun to share the feeling with an audience of people. And that is just an undeniable, enjoyable aspect. I want to hit you with this though.
Okay, do it.
So I want to talk about what makes a good Spider-Man movie, what makes a great Spider-Man movie, because I feel like in my opinion, and I know I teased a little bit of this yesterday on our car ride home, is I feel like Marvel movies absolutely are running their own race. They kind of have, I think they have the ability to be qualified as a good movie, and then they have the ability to be qualified as a good product. Sometimes those are the same thing. Sometimes those are different things. Yep. And I want to know, like, what does it take for Spider-Man to be good?
Well, I think when we're talking about what it takes for a movie to be good, it is so subjective. I think there are a lot of people who would like to qualify and quantify things down to the last, digit of data. And it's just like the greatest rapper of all time. Lupe Fiasco just got into it when he was talking about how Nas doesn't have bars like this, that, and the other person, and what makes a great rapper. And when you come to the greatest rapper, you're like lyrics or rhyme schemes or hits or money or cultural influence or. Yeah. I think what's helpful when you're having a conversation like that or like this, it is establishing what are we talking about right now?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, what is it we've been discussing? Because for me, one of the big things, this, Adam, and internet, you'll find this out. Do I feel anything? Does this make me feel anything? Am I supposed to be scared and I'm actually scared? Is there a part where I'm supposed to go, oh, and it actually happens? Is there a part where I'm supposed to be like disappointed or frustrated or anger? Am I bored? So I think one of the big things that make a movie good for me, for Octavius, is am I enjoying myself? Is this capturing my imagination? Is it taking me on the ride? And am I willing to go with it? Also, is there a coherent story happening here? You know what I'm saying? Am I able to actually say, yes, I'm following you and I see where this went and I have been satisfied? Maybe not every single question has been answered, but there's a level of closure in the story where I can go, okay, cool. And last thing I'll say on this point, when it comes to a Spider-Man movie, I think the best kinds of movies, specifically when it comes to genres, it's good and the story is good, period. And then you can kind of layer on whatever genre, culture, or trope you want to put on. I mean, like skin on top of it. So that's basic stuff for me.
Well, the reason why I bring this up is because we do have to kind of set the context and the reference. Like, what has been a great Spider-Man movie versus a good one, and what is a bad one? I think we're in an age where even movies that in the Spider-Man franchise that people have said, oh, this is a bad one. Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi. We're in an age where now people kind of enjoy reclaiming those things. And so now I hear arguments like, actually, Spider-Man 3 was awesome. I mean, like, it was really cheesy and really corny at times, but that's Sam Raimi, like he's just doing his Raimi thing. And there's some other elements. And it's interesting because I feel like the measurements and the data and how we look at this stuff is constantly changing. And why I bring that up is because Marvel, you can't watch a Marvel movie and grade it against The Odyssey, and you can't grade it against my favorite movie of the year, Blue Heron. You can't grade it against all other movies. It is its own kind of movie. You can't grade M&Ms against, Cacio Pepe. It's like they're different things. They're both edible, but they have different qualities. I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll tell you exactly why. Because I think when I got out of the movie, I was thinking about I thought that movie was really long, and it was because I felt like some pacing stuff inside of the movies. But there's some parts of the movie where I was having the time of my life because I was being shown things I've been asking for. I was being shown Spider-Man teaming up with one of the ground level guys, Punisher, and having a good old fisticuffs with the Hulk, where the stakes were not necessarily super real because these are good guys and none of them are going to kill each other. We know this in the context of or framework of, like how Marvel good guys are, and they don't hurt other good guys necessarily, although we'll get back to that. But so like the stakes were not like this the same as, oh my God, Spider-Man's truly in trouble. What if he actually gets hurt? It was more of, it's just so great to see these characters in the same place, because every time I watch a Spider-Man movie, I'm saying, I just want to see him interact with the rest of the MCU. Like the characters that I like, I want to see the other guys on the screen. I think a lot of us have been complaining about this in the MCU, about we've got this incredible city, New York City, of all these great colorful characters. How come they're not all like hitting each other up all the time? I want to see that. And this movie is providing.
Yeah,
but
that goes down.
But God forbid, Octavius, if you've never heard of Frank Castle, you're going to be in the dark on this movie, which is kind of like, if a movie introduces a character but doesn't really tell you much about the character, then I think that's not a good thing for a movie. And so I think Marvel is running its own race. It's like it's competing against its own properties. So here's what I'm saying to you, and I'm going to pitch you with this, and then I want to hear what you think. Right?
Okay.
Ready?
In
my humble opinion, Adam J. Teterus, in my humble opinion, I think Spider-Man Brand New Day was not a good film, but it was a great Marvel product. I have fun. Hear what I'm saying. I don't think it was a good film, but it was a great Marvel product. I had fun. You got to
help me out with qualifying what that means. So I think when you say it wasn't a good film, I notice you use the word film and not movie.
You see what I'm doing?
I see what I think so. I'm trying to clarify if I see. It wasn't cinema. Like, is it that kind of situation? It's like there is a way of processing this to determine what does it take for something to even be considered a movie or a film, and who gets to say what that is. So I think that there is the conversation about content. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, that's content. Or we don't make content. We don't make movies. We make movies. We don't make content or whatever. When you think about the concept of content, there is a container, and the thing that goes inside of it is content. It is the contents of that thing. So all types of things are content: articles, emails, website, blog posts, social media posts, movies. All these things are content. All these things are products. So when I hear you make the distinction between film and product, I go, well, films are product. No?
Yes, of course. I agree.
So what's the difference that you're making in that? Like when you're thinking through it?
To me, this movie has to do a job. Of course, it needs to be entertaining and entertain the people who bought a ticket. But we know that Marvel is in both a build-up to a big event, a big release in December. And we also know that Marvel is doing a little bit of restructuring in terms of looking at everything that they've been putting out, all their content, all their film, all their television, all their stories.
Right.
And they're doing a little bit of restructuring to make sure that those fans or people who have shown up for every one of these release dates because they don't want things spoiled, those people who have said that they're feeling a little fatigued, the superhero fatigue, we know that's a phrase people have used.
Yep, people say these things.
Marvel's got to pay attention to that stuff. They're listening. They have eyes and ears, and they're listening, and they want to imbue these next movies, this slate of stories that they have, with an understanding of what people do want and don't want. Bring them back, right? And so to me, this movie has to do a job, and the job is kind of like, it's almost like a soft reboot of Spider-Man. We don't normally get a Spider-Man 3. Usually or a Spider-Man 4, I'm sorry. This is Spider-Man 4, not to mention Spider-Man, this character, as played by Tom Holland, has shown up in so many
Multiple
other
times, yeah.
movies that he's got a lot of movies under his belt. He's got a lot of stories. And so they kind of need to like reintroduce the character, and they need to unravel some things. They need to tweak some things. They need to change some things. Notice that in this movie, they spent a lot of time taking the gadgets away and making us intrigued by a different kind of power source for Spider-Man. And, all of those things are strategic decisions to keep the audience on their toes. You're like, this is a little bit different. We got to like change our idea of what Spider-Man is and is not, and where he gets his stuff from. He's not going to be doing the Tony gadgets so much because Tony's not in the picture, and so this movie is kind of a reboot, and it needs to bridge the gap, like energetically bridge the gap, get people excited again. It's got to get people going. And I believe that it succeeds. I was excited. Okay. The introduction of mutants, we'll talk about. Both the de-evolution and evolution of Spider-Man in multiple directions. He's kind of like reborn a little bit.
He's definitely reborn in this. I mean, this is
in my opinion,
Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah. It is. It's a new direction, and that's a plot point, right? Like we're seeing his DNA get all messed up, and Peter has to accept the changes, and that allows him to properly get leveled up. But I think like as a movie, I felt the length of the movie, Octavius. It felt long. I was like, oh my god. So I think it did the things that it needs to do as a product, and I like that as a consumer. But this wasn't my favorite Spider-Man film. Does this make sense? I'm feeling like I
don't think I'm following the point you're making. Like
I got human DNA on this side. I got arachnid DNA on this side. I'm trying to measure.
So let me tell you what I'm hearing. I'm hearing. You tell me if I'm on point or not.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Like, I think that's the in certain ways, there's something about this you don't like. I can't quite put my finger on what it is that you're pointing at, but I think there's an aspect of it that in a more like simplified version, you're saying like, I had expectations that this did not meet. Is that correct? Am I hearing that?
Potentially, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what is it exactly that you're pointing out that didn't work for you? Maybe we can just go to that. Like, what didn't work for you? Because there's a part of it that's like assuming, well, I think Marvel did that, and it seemed like Marvel could have been doing this, and they might have been doing that, and it's like, maybe not. But what's the point of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of pointing out, I think when you were talking about your grandfather in that stage, you were thinking about your grandmother, and it's like, so what? What does that matter? What is the point you're making? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I've found that the tension of the movie, the inherent stakes and the drama of the movie, I found it over familiar in that.
Okay.
I think a lot of the plot point in this is about Peter trying to make a decision about whether or not his previous decision to disappear from the world, from his friends, from people's memories was the right one. And he has to either steel himself to say like, I made the right choice and I have to suck it up and deal with it and how hard that is. Or he kind of flirts with the temptation of, maybe I could just say hi. Maybe I could reintroduce myself. Maybe I can present the letter that I've been holding on to in the coffee cup.
And let me say something about that. That worked for me. Being able to see this character who has the power, with great power must also come great responsibility. We've heard that for years. We've heard Uncle Ben say it. We've heard Aunt May say it. We've seen many different performers and cartoons deal with that.
Right.
What I take away from that point right there is another interpretation of what that means in this context. Great power from young Octavius is like Spider-Man, radioactive Spider-Man. Like, you can climb a wall, you can shoot webs, you've got the power of a spider, and you can, you know what I mean, Stan Lee? You've got all that kind of stuff. That's great power.
You can punch a guy, but don't punch him too hard or you'll kill him. You know, that's great power.
Right. But now this one, it seems like in this movie, the great power is wow, I have relational influence over people I love, over people I care about. Ned and MJ are going through college. I gave up something that matters to me. Like, a lot of times power is not necessarily how you exercise it. It's restraint. It's not doing things. So that's like maybe like the mature young boy into grown man Octavius is able to see, like, there's power in saying no. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. So he has this note in his hand. And I think the movie's going, this is the power right here. This is the power to read this to MJ and go, I can jog your memory, but potentially put you in harm's way. Great responsibility to determine, what do I do with that? And the whole movie, wow, there's a lot of fighting and shooting and web slinging and all that kind of stuff. It seems like the message around that is like, with that great power, how are you going to exercise your responsibility? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm able to extract from this, as far as like, what is this thing about? What is this movie about? And we see that as Peter makes his decisions, even in his super ability, he don't get it right. You know, MJ stands in front of him and goes, who are you to make that decision? Damn. Oh, but I thought, I meant to. And MJ's like, nah, fam, that was crazy. You just gonna take that response? You're gonna take that decision away from me? That's like, wow. I didn't see that angle coming. And then the performances in performing that, Zendaya and Tom Holland acting across from each other, like, that was powerful to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And they have obvious chemistry. Zendaya is a terrific actress, and you know, their own personal relationship lends itself on screen. And this is not the first time we've gotten to see that in a Spider-Man movie. Andrew Garfield in Amazing Spider-Man was in a relationship with Emma Stone, and like, everything they're doing in those movies really works, even if those movies don't work in other ways. So like, I think the performances and the characterization, I think that stuff is good. The reason why I'll bring this up as maybe something that didn't work for me is because I found that tension to be something that we dealt with in a previous movie, and we're dealing with it again. So I'm feeling like, this storyline feels like we visited this. We did this. And I want to go somewhere new and different. And I'm feeling held back. Like this storyline from yesteryear is like an anchor around the foot and doesn't let us move on. And in some ways, that's in fact exactly what this movie is trying to grapple with, which is why I say, I found that for me, it was not the most exciting way for me to spend time in the movie. But I see what you're doing, Marvel. I know why you're doing this, because
does that get your goat somehow? Like, does that
no, actually,
is there something about that makes you go, get your hands off me? Like,
it's more like this. It's more like this. It's more like, I remember going to college. I went to school for broadcasting, and so you spend a lot of time editing and recording and in timelines and scrubbing through media and learning how TV and movies and how media is made. And when you are given that information, you look at media differently. It's not like it is ruined, but you see the seams, you see the work. You can be in awe of, how did they pull that off? I know how hard it is to do this kind of thing. And in that way, it's kind of embellishing your experience because it gives you greater respect. And in other ways, it means like, I can see why this is happening. I see the strings being pulled in order to do a thing that must be done. In this case, the reason why I'm coming out with this is because I'm saying, I have to parse through where the line is for me, because I understand what the job was for this movie to do, and I think it did the job. And
what's
honestly,
wait, hold on. So take me back. Let me get.
It's got to bridge the gap between us. It needs to take someone like me. I will be specific. It needs to take someone like me with superhero fatigue, and it needs to revive me and get my energy back.
Okay. That's one of the jobs, but that's not the only job, right?
I think that's, to me, that is the major job. I think there are a lot of jobs that this movie has to do, but that's the major one. It needs to take, the people who are like, I'm getting kind of bored of this. What else you got? And it needs to inject energy and excitement back in order to keep people excited for the next big thing, which is Doomsday. Because answer me this question, because I don't actually know. What comes out from Marvel between now and Doomsday? Anything? I genuinely don't know.
I think maybe Vision Quest, X-Men 97 has to finish up, and I'm not 100% sure beyond that.
I don't even know what Vision Quest is.
Okay. It's a new show with Vision, and based off of the Tom King stuff, I'm not sure.
Okay, got it. But this is the movie. Like, this is the one movie probably.
No, I think it's a show.
Right. What I'm saying is a Brand New Day. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Brand New Day is the movie.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because this movie is responsible for stoking the fire, keeping the energy up, so people are excited for Doomsday. That's the job.
Adam, that's the way you are taking it. That's the way you are choosing to look at it. But that's not true. That's not the way. It's also a continuation of these characters. It's also an opportunity to introduce new people to Spider-Man. It's also an opportunity to develop this character and leave some of the things behind and essentially molt and shed a skin like it showed us in the movie and move forward to represent another way of doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a way to look at it that goes, hey, the job of this content is to make $2 billion. Correct. But I think to only say the job of this content is to make $2 billion is an oversimplification of what all of the people that set out there to make that movie is to do. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. If this doesn't make $2 billion or however many $1 billion, a billion, whatever, you know what I mean? There are people in suits that are going to be like, dagnammit, curse you, Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be like, I want my money. But then there are people like me who are going to be able to go, hey, show me how this character develops. And storytellers, writers, and directors, what is it that you are trying to say to me? What is the message you're trying to communicate? You know what I mean? But if I'm in everybody's pockets only, if I'm only patting everybody's pockets and go, how much money you make off of this? See, you made a lot of money. I knew this was about making money. And it's like, of course it is. Yeah. But we still want to make a good movie too. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe this is a good direction for the conversation, and we could just talk, beat by beat, what happens in the movie, so that way people know, like stuff we're reacting to. But in your opinion, what would you say is the message of Brand New Day, this movie?
I think it's a little bit of what we were talking about, what I was talking about before, about like, what do you do with your responsibility? You know what I mean? When I look at our Peter Parker character, like this guy's in a new space. This guy's in a new world where he's growing up. He's not just a kid. Tony is gone. T'Challa is gone. May is gone. You know what I mean? Like MJ is gone. Like this is a new stage in life where the things that you did in the past, like maybe the fun and adventures that you went on before, you're not there anymore. Yeah. And I think that's a scenario that I can relate to. I've been in that scenario, and it's kind of like, who are you now? A lot of the things that you were dreaming and aspiring to, you've accomplished. But even in accomplishing those things, you're not feeling like you are where you want to be. We see street level Spider-Man. When we look at the older Spider-Mans, he's on the phone like, hey, Happy, what can I do for you? Just give me a call. Like, is there anything I can do? Like, let me help out, so on and so forth. And we have this whole moment where Tony is like, if you can't do it without the suit, then you don't deserve it. So we've seen some character development since then. Now he has to make his own suit. He's met Peter 2 and Peter 3 or whatever, and he's taken some stuff from them. You can see it in his suit. He's also in a scenario now where he has to move forward and continue to take care of the city like he wanted to, and he's able to do it. He's got the police calling him.
At what cost?
Right. Everybody, Spider-Man, like everybody loves you. And now that you have all that stuff, you look in the mirror and you're just like, damn, why am I not fulfilled? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that's some of the stuff that I'm taking away from the storytelling that what the
Right.
storytellers are presenting to us and what the entertainment is. And last thing I'll say, because I want to give it back to you, is as you get older, your friends and your relationships, they get weird. You know what I mean? Like the people that you used to kick it with, you don't kick it with them anymore. So now you have new friends. Frank is your new friend. You know what I'm saying? This guy who is off and he doesn't quite handle things the way that you handle them. Like, how do you coexist with people who have the same goal as you, but might go about it in a different way? So I think there's a lot of messages to like pull out from what I think the storytellers are trying to tell us in this movie.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I mean, I think all of that is salient. And you even saying it out loud, you know, there's a degree of watching this movie and being like, you know what, at a certain point in time when you become quote unquote mature and you become a quote unquote adult, you just work your ass off, and for what, right? And maybe at the cost of your relationships, you know, and it's not for me and you, it might not be a magic spell for people to forget us, but there's still a distance created when you are grinding away. And maybe this is
working. I'm sorry. You just reactivated me because I have been here. I'm working to accomplish this thing. I want to get this job. I got to build my portfolio, my reel, my degree, and I'm going to go get it. And who do you leave behind you when you're doing it? There are people who aren't with us anymore. There are people who have relationships have broken off and gone in different directions, all while you're in pursuit of getting this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like a level of adulthood. It is shedding that skin. It's molting and then like going through like really our Peter Parker character right now when he's even fighting with this whole like, hey, you know, you're like kind of having a panic attack. You know what I mean? Like you're not dealing with your stress. You're not calming down. You're grinding so hard that you are now resisting who you are becoming because you're so used to being who, like, you think that you're going to achieve what you want to be, you know what I mean? Or you're holding on to what you were. But this whole inhibitor thing, that's ultimately him going like, no. I'm in charge. I know what this is supposed to be like. But as this character develops, he's able to go, no, it's like, I'm a new person. You know what I mean? I am this person who we see in the superhero movie tropes, the organic web shooters, and you know what I mean? Like the black eyes looking more like a spider, and they're like, man spider, if you know, you know, that kind of stuff. But I'm able to extract from that, yo, man, you got people around who can see you, who can speak to you, and you're so focused on achieving what you're trying to achieve that you're not really tapping in. And I think our character, our main character, our protagonist really is able to level up and overcome the obstacle in front of him when he embraces that moment where he's like, are you Peter Parker? Or are you a spider? Or are you Spider-Man? Like, you know what I mean? When Sadie Sink's character says that,
I'm both.
he ultimately says, I'm both. And I think that's the growth of the character in this. So we still have, you know, amazing fight scenes, but I still see the story in it.
Yeah, and you know, I see those pieces, and the reason why I think I come down in a place where, as a movie, as a story, it didn't really satisfy me because I see all of those pieces, but I didn't find that they were converged neatly in a way that I thought like made it all count. So I see every individual ingredient. I'm like, I know what we're doing. I know why we're doing it, and I want to get there. But I also find myself a little confused, like Sadie Sink. We can just say it. She's Jean Grey.
All right. Say it. Yeah.
So Jean Grey,
we had a spoiler from Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool in Comic-Con, which is hilarious.
Is that right?
He was in a Jean Grey Deadpool costume, which he wore around San Diego Comic-Con and walked all around and took pictures. And in Hall H, she had a whole moment where he was, you know, performing Deadpool, like breaking the wall and speaking to the cast and going, when are you guys filming the movie? But come to find out later on, like he had a Pantone square and it said Jean Grey. A very Deadpool
clever
moment. You know what I mean? Clever thing. So yes, that's Jean Grey.
I like that. So, when we see Jean Grey kind of taunting him near the finale of the movie, and Peter is fighting the hands, and we got to get the Jean to make sure that she doesn't take the life of the damage control guy, right?
Right.
That's that point where up until this moment, Spider-Man has been dealing with these changes in his biology and trying to talk to Bruce Banner and create the inhibitor and like reduce the changes, resist the changes, right? Which is a theme of the movie, which is he's resisting these changes in his life, right?
Yep.
Instead of just growing and evolving and getting to a new point in his life.
Yeah.
And then she, Jean Grey is kind of taunting him and asks, which one are you? And in this moment, things click together and Peter decides, I'm accepting both sides of this. I'm both. Right. And it's cool because we get to see him effectively, video game style, level up. He's like, his powers unlock and he's using limit breaks and going ham and, bullet time,
combo
right?
Breaker.
100%. I see all that stuff, but from a story perspective, I am watching that and wondering what led him to be able to accept this. I don't think I understand how he accepted it. I think from the story perspective, I don't understand how he got there, because just before this moment, he wasn't there, and I don't know what got him there. And then when we see the moment where a moment I liked, when he allows Jean to enter into his mind, and he shares this memory of Aunt May with her. To me, that's like, oh, wow, that's really powerful. Now, he has recontextualized the enemy as not an enemy, as somebody who's troubled like him and someone who feels alone and isolated and abandoned like him. And now he's coming to understand, like, here's someone like me. Actually, it's not good to be by yourself. You need to be with people. And here I am being with her. And that happened after the superpower epiphany came to fruition. And so I think from a movie perspective, from the story, I wasn't always sure. Like, I know we have to get to this point, but I don't know. I don't exactly know how, or maybe I don't exactly believe that it happened because I wasn't shown it in the right way. And unfortunately, the reference, the comparison that I have to make is the Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is a story about Spider-Man, and it is so lean, and it is so exquisite. Amazing. It's dramatic. It's emotional. It's very tight. Across the Spider-Verse is a long freaking movie. It's lengthy, but what it's doing like really comes together in a way that plucks my heartstrings. People get mad at that movie for having just the most harsh cliffhanger of all time.
Oh, okay.
The cliffhanger, and I get it. But I was so emotionally satisfied throughout that I'm not mad, and I know there's more coming. And the reason why
we just hope that it's not like The Matrix. That's the one thing. Lord Jesus,
I know.
Heaven, Jesus of Nazareth, please let these people get this movie correct. If they Matrix me on this final Spider-Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all better land it, because we love this. Yeah. We are so prepared and ready for you all to give us the three-peat, to like bring it home. Please don't Matrix us.
Spider-Verse Revolutions.
Like Lord Jesus.
Spider-Man was a Christ figure. Right.
I'd be so mad. But yes, you were saying,
I just, the comparisons, this is why I start this conversation with what makes a great Spider-Man, what makes a good Spider-Man, what's a bad Spider-Man, what is a Spider-Man story? And we have some of the finest superhero storytelling specifically about Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse movies. They're unbelievable. Now, of course, this MCU story is not that. It's not trying to be that. It's a different thing. But the comparisons come up because we talked about Disclosure Day, and I'm like, we have this at home and it's better. It's called Arrival. I loved Arrival.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Let me just finish the sentence real quick and then please ask. But I'm watching Spider-Man movies and saying, I've seen the best Spider-Man movie. So you don't have to top it, but you got to show me something that really blows the doors off. And the comparison is always existing in my mind. And this is why, for me, it was not the best film, but I see what it's doing in order to get me to the next thing, in my understanding, and I think it's doing it. I believe it. I think it's going to work.
Is it not the best because it's not as good as what you... Wait, is it not good because it's not the best? Or is it not good on its own? And let me tell you why. Silly analogy, but this is the one I got for you, internet. Work with me here, crew. Like, if you are eating your wife's apple pie.
Okay.
Right? You're eating your... I understood that reference. If you are eating...
What's this movie rated?
Right, yeah.
That's a joke for Punisher, all right?
Yeah. Fill in the blank. If you're eating, you know what I mean, your wife's banana pudding or whatever, right?
You keep...
Hey, this is what I got. You know what I mean?
If you're enjoying your wife's yams.
Yeah, whatever. All right. This is the illustration. We're just going to move forward with it. And the whole time, you know, whatever the thing is, you're comparing it to something else. Yeah. I think that may create a scenario that could rob you of the ability to fully be present and engage with what you have before you.
True.
You know what I mean? And allowing that thing to be what it is versus it being something in constant comparison to something else. You know, yes, we compare as humans. That's a thing. You know, I'm sure it comes from all kinds of reasons. But I think when I am able to appreciate something the most, it's because I am able to be present with it and be able to kind of like digest it and take it in for what it is. I'll tell you the truth. I wasn't really thinking about Spider-Verse while we were watching this movie. You know what I mean? That wasn't a thing that was in my mind. I was able to just kind of be present with this and go, wow, the cinematography on this is really dope. Man, like the lighting, like the shadows. Whoa, okay, the color on this is different. Look at the suit. Look at the wrinkles. And kind of like you can tell that it's actually cloth. That's a different suit. Okay, yes. Like I'm able to be in the moment with what's actually going on right there. And I'm sure that if I was constantly in comparison in my mind with something else, it would be kind of like stealing my ability to appreciate and enjoy what I was watching in front of me. The whole time, every time you take a bite, and like my mom's, it's like, well, what the hell? I ain't trying to do this. That's not what we're doing here. I'm trying to do this thing right here. So if part of what you're bringing to the table is it better be as good as this, it's like, well, I never agreed to that. You know what I mean?
I find it very difficult to turn that part of my brain off. I do. And I think that there is a tension between being somebody who can just turn that off and enjoy the experience, and also just being somebody who is aware of surroundings, of aware of context. This movie exists in context, and I am aware of context. Whether you agree with me or not that the context for this movie is to get us to the next movie.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
You know,
like, that's actually some of the nitpicks I have for it, which we can get into once you finish this point.
Well, yeah, actually, you know, I have. If I may, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about the things that we especially liked about the movie. If that's cool, like, I mean,
yeah.
Look, man, I'm creating a reputation on KRA-KOOM, okay?
You are allowed to be exactly who you are. We love you, and that is why I have you here. We need people like you. You know what I'm saying? We need you to be able to like share a different point of view. Because listen, internet, everybody watching and listening, low key, like you all are getting an opportunity to be a part of conversations that we would have and have had, whether we were recording or not. That's where all this stuff comes from. You know what I mean? We have talked, argued, cried, fussed at each other, you know what I'm saying? Like outside of being recorded. So a large part of what this is like, no, I want you to challenge me. And I want you to challenge my thinking, love, curiosity, nuance. That's the kind of stuff that we're bringing to these kind of things. Where the media that you love gets the conversation that it deserves. That is what KRA-KOOM is, and that's why you are here.
Aunt May voice. We don't love you because you're special. We love you because you're you.
Right. That's right.
Exactly. I love you, Aunt May. I love you because you look like Marissa Tomei.
Right.
That's why I love you.
You love Aunt May's apple pie and banana pudding. So, yeah.
And the yams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I did want to say, I wanted to share some of the things that I really liked. And I'm curious if you had some favorite parts too. But I want to say off top, this movie solves a problem for me.
Okay.
A lot of Marvel movies have a finale that are so CG overloaded. We have to have the big fight, and the big fight has to be the biggest spectacle. And the spectacle,
shoot a laser in the sky.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
You got to fight Dormammu. You got to fight an astral dragon. Right. You know, sometimes they get too out of hand, and that's not a good emotional conclusion. Mm-hmm. And this movie and Thunderbolts both have satisfying endings that are used emotionally. I think a lot of the conclusion and the resolution comes from people thinking and feeling and talking.
Yeah.
And action is sprinkled in there too. And I must say that I am refreshed to see that kind of storytelling, because it's the kind of thing that I think we would see in a comic book, you know?
Or an anime.
Oh, interesting.
So, and I don't want to steal your thunder. So, I will just kind of go right back to you. But I think Thunderbolts, we ultimately realized that the power of friendship was the thing that ultimately allowed them to overcome the biggest obstacle.
I really like that movie.
It was the power of being able to go, we love you just the way you are. You know what I'm saying? Like we see the depths of your heart and we love you the same. We accept you, And it seemed like there's an element of what happened in this movie that was similar. Did you see that?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. I would agree. And maybe you could argue that it's too similar. That these are very similar.
This is my nitpick.
Would you say that it's kind of like it's in the same gear, I guess? It's like, we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that they seeded that like, okay, Aunt May said something powerful to him, something that's going to mean something. And I like that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, there's going to be some sort of epiphany, some sort of moment of growth and understanding, and like, I see, that's going to allow you to overcome. And Peter kind of had that moment, and, question about whether that worked for you or not. But I will say that Jean Grey, in her moment, I was kind of like, huh? Like, wait, you was mad as hell a minute ago. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I love this depiction of Jean Grey. Let me say this. I did not see that coming. They threw me off the scent, So when I saw the hood, I was like, is that the hood? Is that from Ironheart? Did they bring the hood in? I'm like, and I'm sitting here going through my mind, wait, can the hood do that? Like, what are his powers? So the whole time I'm thinking, like, is this the hood? And then when I see this Jean Grey, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Jean Grey is the boogeyman? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. This is a new way of considering a mutant and a new way of considering the emotions that they've shown us for a long time about how do you feel about how you've been treated, being persecuted, being hurt, seeing loved ones go. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, you mad as hell. And I'm coming for all of I see the motivation. I understand why you're pissed. I understand why, they done locked up my sister. I'm killing everybody. You know what I mean? And I don't think I've ever seen Jean Grey that way. Have you? Like, just like,
not necessarily.
You can't stop me.
But you know what? Even though that presentation is not necessarily something that we've seen before, not explicitly like this, it sets up some things that we know are true about Jean and the X-Men. Thing one that it sets up is this is what a young mutant is like before they get the positive influence from Xavier. Right. And Xavier's whole mission is to take them in and to help them, to rehabilitate them, to let them love themselves so they're not holding on to so much anger. That's the whole idea for gifted youngsters. And so it sets up a dynamic that now actually I think hits hard. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, you got to help people who need help. It's not just like every mutant just comes to you just cause, but like you want to help them because they're going through it. Right. So it sets that up. And it also, I think, really effectively sets up eventually the Phoenix. It's not just the Phoenix that's scary. It's what would the Phoenix do to someone who's been through this, who feels like that, who has that inside of them at times. And so I think it was I thought this was an interesting Jean Grey, and it checks out. This is a new presentation. That was something that I think is doing the work that it needs to do. And that's another job that it's doing. We're introducing the mutants into this universe, or like really effectively. And the job is like, we've got to get them in a way that is both familiar, but also exciting. And I think it succeeds on that job. Even if when we see Jean Grey decide, oh, you know what? I am loved. Even if that's like a really quick 180,
bro.
I don't fully, in the same way that I see Peter Parker say, I am both, and he is that total power level, complete control. Like, I know why we need to do it. And I think it's doing the job. I don't know if we've fully earned it, but here's the deal. I just want to get this out of the way. I enjoyed this movie. But I'm enjoying it in a different way than, wow, this movie knocked me off my feet and I had the time of my life in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm not bothered by seeing the work and design and the seams of Marvel. Maybe I'm kind of in awe that they are pulling it off when I wasn't sure if they could.
Yeah.
That takes work.
And that's okay. Like, that's the whole point of having these conversations, like being able to tweeze it apart and break it apart. And like, this is what makes this stuff fun. Talking about it with your friends, with your people. I like a discussion. You know what I mean? I like a deep dive. I want to go back to Jean. Can we go back to Jean?
Let's go back to Jean.
As I said, Jean is mad as hell. Jean is the boogeyman. She's Jason Voorhees. You know what I'm saying? Scary power too. Scary way of doing it. Like basically haunting you. The ability to take over someone. I'm really wowed by the way that they decided to really address the difference between being a superhero and a supervillain is what you choose to do with your powers.
Certainly.
Now imagine how scary it would be if somebody could really take over someone, the body snatcher, take over someone's body and make them do anything. Dope. So now we see her getting ready to kill this man who has done her sister's you know what I mean? Like all of this kind of stuff, right? And then Peter's like, yeah, we love you. Oh, okay. Huh? Wait, what? Okay, they killed your sister. You gotta get it back in blood. You just looked up. You now know what VMAX is. This is the last thing this is Carrie. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of moment. You know,
I really like the VMAX part. Here's another thing. Marvel is playing on people's expectations. VMAX, and here we are as viewers. I don't know about you, but I'm sitting there. I'm like, the MacGuffin. What's it gonna be? They're subverting my expectations. They did the same thing when they had that college student say, how come Thanos didn't just, create all the food that he wanted in order to balance things out? If you really care.
Have they been tapping into our conversations and group chats?
So
we've been saying this for years.
Right. They're slick for that. They're paying attention. They're paying attention. You can't say they're not paying attention.
Right. But her turn, man, I was like, nah, bro. Like, nah. You did such a good job building up to that to essentially just make her be like, it's all good. It's not all good. You know what I mean? Why do you trust Peter Parker now? Like, this guy just got you locked up. You know what I mean? Like, so that is the part where I kind of was like knocked out of it for a second, where I was just like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Like y'all were cooking for a while now, but they did a really good job, like making it interesting. You see Frank with the case and you're like, oh, I know what that is. I know what comic book that's from. That's the one where, you know what I mean? So you see that coming, and you're worried and you're scared for Peter. So it's kind of like they kind of hit you with this a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, let's just give you a bunch of stuff that you like and like in transition past it. But when I think about it for a little bit, I start to pull it apart and I go, come on, y'all. Like I needed y'all to like make her decision to let go of all that power. With great power must also come great responsibility. What was it in her responsibility that she saw or whatever that made her go, okay, I'm wilding, or I see it a different way? I just didn't see that happen. And I was a little disappointed by that.
Yeah. I assume that what the movie is trying to do is foreshadow that a little bit, because when we see Jean with her sister, Sarah, I didn't know Jean had a sister. I don't know nothing about Sarah Gray. I'm just saying that off top. I do not know. So when we see that memory of the two of them in the park, Jean is spending a lot of time looking at what looks like a mother and a child, right? And so there's kind of like the camera is showing us she really wants that. Her mom's not there, and she knows she's on her own with her sister, but she really wants a loving parental figure. She really wants someone who will care for her in that relationship. And I see the buildup and the foreshadow, and this is the characterization that the lens is showing us. And then she gets to experience that as Peter, as if it's her. She's inside of people's minds and she knows what's going on with them, and she knows it's not a lie. She feels those feelings. They're real feelings. And so I assume that that's us kind of closing the loop on that. Here's a young woman who really wanted that love, and she's invited into somebody's mind. She didn't take it. She's invited inside so she can experience it. And maybe that's just very arresting for her. She's like, oh, wow. You know what? Maybe this is actually what I need. But I agree with you. I don't think the movie really sells me on that, even if I understand.
It doesn't sell me.
Yeah. Yes. It tells me. Doesn't sell me. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple other things that I like a lot. Frank Castle.
He's fun to watch
in this movie. The relationship between Frank Castle and Spider-Man, really dope. It's really cool to see them kind of like work off each other. And we know that John Barenthal and Tom Holland have a long history of working together. They were just in the Odyssey together. So they've got a lot of chemistry there. And like, since we're talking about some of our favorite moments, the fight scene between the Hulk and Punisher and Spider-Man, bro. I'm great. Just like, shoot it into my veins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. I am a child. My eyes could well up with tears. Yes, these are the moments that I love. I love this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the animation and the performances were done so well. When you see Hulk, he's been Smart Hulk, and you're kind of like, oh, he's big, but he doesn't seem that big, but he gets bigger. It's like, oh, that's Savage Hulk. That's a different Hulk. There is no banner, only Hulk. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. How are you going to overcome this?
I feel the same way about the way this movie constantly puts Spider-Man into comic book poses.
Yes.
Constantly. And like all of them. And to me, it's a little bit, to me, it's a cheat code. It's a cheat code. It's like, even if
I'm cool with it.
This Spider-Man doesn't normally move like that. Listen.
I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it too. I'm saying this to you. I'm looking straight into the optics of my camera right now.
Right.
And I'm saying, I like this. I'm weak for this. And it's cool. It's cool. Even if I could be cynical and I could say, oh, I know what you're doing. You're trying to control my emotions and pluck my heartstrings as a comic book fan. But I'm saying it's working. Which is why I'm saying that, like, I think this is a good product, a good Marvel product, and it worked on me. Sometimes I want to go to Target, Octavius, and I want to look in the toy aisle.
Every time, Adam.
Do you think I'm looking at these toys and thinking this is a good investment, this is a good opportunity, I should be buying this, this is smart, this is savvy? But I just, I like this. And I'll be damned. This movie has shown me some things where I'm like, I don't know. It's not as good as Spider-Verse. They did it. And then it's showing me some other stuff, and I'm like, ooh, Spider-Man looked like that. And I'm like, it's just fun. And so to me, I think this movie is doing enough to keep me on. I have foibles with it. It's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. I think there's some stuff that
it's one of the better ones, though. No,
it is one of the better ones.
It is street level. Marvel New York City world building. I expected to see Daredevil come in and coach him on how to deal with all the, you know what I mean? Like all the extra sensory stuff. You can go to ESU. You can go see Bruce Banner. You got Captain Boomerang, not Captain Boomerang. You see, you know what I mean? You see all the Sinister Six. You see, like, this is kind of pointing at the Sam Raimi Spider-Man a little bit, but still staying with the Marvel MCU. I'm like, yo, you got comic booky, but also almost made like a better narrative story at the same time.
I actually think the biggest influence on this movie is the Insomniac games, because the swinging sequences, the fighting sequences, even the fact that he levels up at the end. I mean, it's like at the end of the game, you've got the whole skill tree unlocked, and that's what it feels like, right? That's what it looks like. I found that in a weird way for the first time ever. I was watching this MCU movie and saying, wow, this looks a lot like the video game. I don't think that's a bad thing per se, but it was very notable to me. It was very notably video gamey.
Yeah. I think this is a good time to give some grades, man. What do you think? You ready?
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready.
You need to meditate more, or are you fully ready to tell the people what your letter grade is? While you meditate, let me tell everybody. We do letter grades, A, B, C, D, F, just like in grade school. What I want to do now is just take a second for everyone to know. I want to know what your letter grade for this movie is as well. So we don't want to just tell you what we think about this. We want to hear your commentary as well. So A, B, C, D, F, what's your letter grade, Adam?
I've said that this movie is two different things. I've said it's a movie, it's a product. As a movie, I want to say,
you about to give this 2 grades right now?
Just hear me out. Let me take the long walk. All right. Enter into my mind so you can see where I'm coming from.
Got it. Okay, I'm doing it.
As a movie, I want to say this is a C+. As a product, I want to say this is a B-. When I combine those things together and I ask the Sorcerer Supreme for just one wish to make this next sentence make sense, those things come together and this becomes just a firm B. This is a B for me. Right. I had a good time. I can't help but compare it to truly great spider stories. Yeah. I had a nice time, and I think I might even want to give it points because of the work that Marvel has to do to get people like me back. And it worked. So I want to say this is a B for me.
Yeah. You worked.
Is that okay? Does that sound okay?
It could be whatever you want it to be. No,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I got this at a solid B. And I say it.
How's this keep happening?
What like the meaning of what B is?
No, because I remember when we were doing Evil Dead Burn, and I was just like, I don't really know about this, and I gave it a grade that I thought was kind of harsh. And then you're like, yeah, I agree with that, but you liked it a lot. I think we're coming from like we have such different attitudes. That's
the whole point, and this is why I ask other people what your letter grade is and why, because it allows us to learn about one another. What is this stuff of if not learning about one another and figuring out what we think and why we think it? So yeah, absolutely. So internet, what is your grade for this movie? Do you have it at A, B, C, D, or an F? Adam's got it at a B, middle. C-, B+.
I'm giving it, something. You know what? I'm making it official. Okay. If whoever's keeping the KRA-KOOM wiki, write this down. All right. This is it. I'm making this official right now. You're giving it a B, Octavius. I'm giving it a B- because I have to register that I had more feelings maybe some more reservations. So, all right, Adam's given this a B minus.
Yeah,
B-.
I got it, and I got it at a B. I mean, this is an above average movie. Like, I really like this. This was really fun. Since we mentioned Spider-Verse, of course, I know people have that in their brains. This is not Spider-Verse, but this is really good. Internet, I want to know what you all think about this movie. Please leave us a comment on this. Subscribe again. If you got this far in the show and you haven't subscribed, I think this is a great time for you to do so. We are on YouTube at KRA-KOOM, KRA-KOOM. Everywhere else on socials, KRA-KOOM Media. And I am at Octavius was here on socials. And Adam, once again, where can they find you?
I still haven't come up with a good answer. I couldn't even tell people what my Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky.
Okay.
I'm opening Blue Sky so I can tell you what my Blue Sky.
I'm opening it right now.
Name is. Wow, thanks. WOWTHANKS. I'm on Blue Sky. I don't think anybody else is, but I'm on there.
I mean, I think I might have one, but I don't really use it. Who knows? But yeah, this has been great. Thank you all for rocking with us and watching us chit chat and discuss this. We have more to come. Adam will be back. Adam Teterus will return.
That's
on
right.
KRA-KOOM.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Terrible post-credit sequence.
Yeah, well,
sorry. Bad.
Spider-Man will return. You already knew that. We didn't need them to tell us that. Spider-Man will return. The question is, will Miles Morales arrive? That's what. That's what
we're waiting. All right, sorry, I derailed you.
No, it's all good. All right, y'all. That's it for this episode. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.